Hey guys, welcome to TalkTive. Today we are going to explore about Saudi Arabia $200 billion water project. Let's dive deep with us. You all know Saudi Arabia relies on two liquids, water and oil. Many consider oil to be the country's most important natural resource. However, for the Saudis themselves, water is becoming increasingly valuable. Oil elevated Saudi Arabia, but a lack of water will destroy it. Oil revenues are growing, allowing for the rapid construction of skyscrapers. But water reserves are steadily decreasing. And as it turned out, they are not infinite. The end is near and threatens the existence of the desert kingdom. Today, we will tell you about how Saudi Arabia is struggling with the problem of fresh water shortage, what megaprojects the country is developing to prevent a catastrophe, and what will happen if the water in Saudi Arabia runs out. At the Bahrain plant in Riyadh, water bottles are processed as water from underground springs undergoes purification. Ahmed Safar al-Azmari, manager of one of the factories, explains that in Saudi Arabia, water comes from either the sea or deep wells, with their region relying on wells. Despite concerns about the water supply, Azmari is confident, citing studies that indicate some reserves can sustain consumption for 150 years, ensuring no immediate problems. However, his confident predictions are not supported by facts. One of the groundwater experts in Saudi Arabia at King Faisal University predicted that the kingdom's water reserves would last for another 13 years. Groundwater resources of Saudi Arabia are being depleted at a very fast rate, declared the UN Food and Agriculture Organization as far back as 2008. Most water withdrawn comes from fossil deep aquifers, and some predictions suggest that these resources may not last more than about 25 years. Groundwater constitutes approximately 98% of the natural freshwater in Saudi Arabia. The latest data from independent experts in 2022 is truly alarming. Over 80% of Saudi Arabia's fossil water is no longer available. These are approximate figures, but the situation could be even worse. This means that one of the greatest and oldest reserves of freshwater on the planet, in one of the hottest and driest places, has practically dried up in just over a single generation. However, there is still time to find radical solutions to address this issue. Currently in Riyadh, it seems that the danger looming over the kingdom is not fully recognized. The city is undergoing a construction boom, with more skyscrapers appearing. Saudi Arabia's landscape is increasingly dotted with farmlands and large dairy farms due to irrigation. Water for these projects was previously pumped from underground reservoirs without restrictions, leading to excessive use, particularly through traditional flood irrigation on 35% of agricultural lands. This resulted in an unsustainable water pumping rate of 5 trillion gallons annually. The excessive water consumption has had severe consequences, highlighting the country's reliance on oil discoveries for its development. But fewer people understand that water was no less essential than oil. For decades, efforts were made to make the desert bloom and sustain the city's population. This led to the development of agricultural projects to cultivate water-loving crops like wheat on farmland, the expansion of which depended on estimates and calculations approved by the royal family. Many doubt the accuracy of the kingdom's optimistic oil reserve estimates. Yet the looming threat of water shortages could be an even more dire problem. Saudi Arabia consumes twice the global average amount of water per person at 263 liters per person per day, and this usage is increasing amid a changing climate that will soon limit water supplies. In 2020, Saudi Arabia launched the Quattro program to reduce water consumption, especially in the agricultural sector. The program seeks to cut state incentives for grain production, but the total area of irrigated land has not decreased as producers switch to more profitable, water-intensive crops. Major food producer Almorav is acquiring land in the US and Argentina to grow alfalfa for cattle feed. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2020, part of the Vision 2030 initiative, aims to significantly reduce groundwater usage for agriculture, though the country still heavily relies on slowly renewing fossil water. Desalination of seawater has long been considered an effective means to combat the growing water scarcity threat in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia occupies a leading position in the world in terms of the volume of desalinated water it produces. Currently, the kingdom operates 31 desalination plants. Desalinated water, unlike natural fresh water, accounts for 50% of the water consumed in Saudi Arabia. The remaining 50% is sourced from groundwater. However, this comes with high energy costs. Researchers from King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah calculated that the demand for desalinated water is increasing by 14% annually. Yet they add that desalination is a highly expensive and unstable process. Desalination plants also pose environmental harm, as their operation releases pollutants into the air and poses a threat to marine ecosystems. Saudi Arabia faces the challenge of changing water consumption habits to prevent a water scarcity crisis. The Red Sea project, aimed at creating a tourist destination the size of Belgium, exemplifies this dilemma. While it promises to attract 1 million visitors annually and generate revenue for water resources, it will also consume 56,000 cubic meters of water daily. Experts suggest that Saudi Arabia should focus on improving existing cities and using oil revenue to modernize poor areas, such as Jizan, which is struggling with water supply issues. In every building in Saudi Arabia, including those in both poor and normal districts, water barrels are a common sight. This indicates that water is not supplied continuously but rather several times a week. Residents rely on electric pumps to draw water from the barrels for use in each apartment. This situation is prevalent in other Saudi cities as well. A major issue is that water in natural underground reservoirs is not replenished. The region receives an average of only 100 to 200 millimeters of precipitation per year, rendering groundwater a non-renewable resource. Despite this, in 2023, Saudi Arabia ranks third globally in per capita water consumption, following only the United States and Canada. This high rate of water consumption exacerbates the strain on already limited water resources, highlighting the critical need for more sustainable water management practices. Saudi Arabia serves as a clear example of how poor water resource management can lead to serious consequences for the water sector, especially as climate change adds pressure on water availability and quality. The country illustrates the challenges of water deficit management by developing desalination plants and water recycling infrastructure. However, there is a concern that authorities may not fully grasp the severity of the freshwater problem in the region. Despite investing hundreds of billions of dollars into megaprojects that could worsen the water deficit, efforts are being made to mitigate the impact and prevent a catastrophe. While oil played a crucial role in the nation's development, the scarcity of water poses a significant threat to its future stability and prosperity. Let's hope these predictions never come true. Write in the comments, what do you think about this problem of Saudi Arabia? Do you think the authorities are doing enough to solve the freshwater shortage? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the TalkTive channel. Also, check out our previous videos. See you later.